Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. Welcome back to my channel, my loverlies. If you've never been here before, thank you so much for clicking on my video. I am so happy you found me. I do so hope that you will like and subscribe before you leave. Become part of the Mama family. Mama's got your back, at least where makeup's concerned, and definitely when that makeup is cheap. Today, we're doing something I have never done before. I was going through my collection, as I do continuously, and I was thinking, like, how many drugstore brands are there really? And of those drugstore brands, which ones do I actually like? So that got me to thinking, well, maybe I should rank all of the drugstore brands. And then I was kind of challenging myself to see, do I really know what all the drugstore brands are? And because, how many really drugstore brands are there? Y'all, this sent me down a wormhole. We're going to discuss everything today. I'm going to be ranking all of the drugstore brands that I know of. And while I do that, I'm going to be taking off my makeup. It is super, super late. I am about to go sit on the couch with Mr. Hubby and go watch the new Magic Mike. I am very, very excited. But before I do that, I need to get comfy. I need to take my war paint off. And we're going to do that together. I figured this would be a super cute video to do. Just kind of kick back, relax, very unprofessional, I guess, but very just kind of laid back girl chat kind of thing. But y'all, have you ever really thought about how many drugstore brands there really are? I think we take for granted. We go to the store, we go to Walmart, say, and we go into the beauty department, and we just kind of see row after row, kiosk after kiosk of makeup brands, but we never really at least I haven't. I've never really kind of compiled all of the different brands. And there are different stores that sell different brands. Guys, they're in all, I remembered 23 different brands. And I have tried things from every single one of these brands. And I do have an opinion, believe it or not, on every single brand. It's going to be ranked not only in how, in order of best to, not great, but how interesting I find the brand as well. So we're just going to dive right into it. Before I take my makeup off, if you guys are wondering what is on my face today, I did do a TikTok on today's eye look. I used my Beauty Bay Earthy palette. It is a big, giant 42 color green and neutral palette. It's absolutely phenomenal. Today's eye look turned out really, really pretty. I wanted to go for something kind of like minty, like mint chocolate chip kind of thing. I just really, really like the way that it turned out. I, of course, do have finished pics posted up on Instagram and Facebook. Under each of those posts is going to be a detailed list of every single product I used to achieve today's face. And of course, if you have any questions, all you got to do is send me a comment and I will get back to you. So, ranking drugstore brands. And this was hard. This was really hard. It's taken me 2 days. I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily a super indecisive person, but I love drugstore makeup. I love drugstore makeup, and each and every one of these brands really does have at least one product that I enjoy. So it's like picking between your children. It's like trying to pick which one of your children you love most. It's really, really difficult, right? In the end, I was able to come up with a list that I'm pretty much happy with. So here it goes. So number one on my list is going to be Colourpop. Now, the reason I picked Colourpop is because I think that out of this entire list, Colourpop checks all the boxes, right? Colourpop is a really beautifully well-rounded brand, right? They've got everything from eyeliners and lipstick to lip liners. They've got eyeshadows, they've got bronzers, they've got cheek products and foundation. They have everything. They have a fully complete line of products that I really appreciate. I have tried quite a bit from the brand. Everything I have tried, I've enjoyed. Also, I think for the most part, I think Colourpop prices are really, really fair as well. That's going to be why they rank number one on today's list. I really just feel like they're the best option, right? I feel like you get high-end formulas for, drugstore prices. There are some drugstore brands that are like sold in Walmart, things like that are more expensive than Colourpop. And then with Colourpop, the only thing that I'm not a big fan of is that you can't go in store and purchase them. But again, they're sold in Target and stuff like that. Now, I look so crazy without my eyebrows. Anyway, you can go into Target and buy things from Colourpop now. which is really nice. Of course, you can't get the full line, but, and again, when you do order from Colourpop, I feel like their shipping takes absolutely forever. So, not my favorite thing, but if we're just going on like products and things like that, I really do think that Colourpop has got it. Like they've got everybody beat. I think that their products are amazing for really, really amazing prices. Next up, we have Revolution. And this one was a little bit controversial for me just because I feel like when it comes to Revolution, their quality, I feel like their quality can be either hit or miss. Some of their products are super, super good, and some of them are kind of terrible. When it comes to eyeshadow, some of their palettes are amazing, and some of them are not so much so. So I feel like if they were a little bit more consistent, I feel like they would have been even better than Colourpop, because I feel like they have an even more expansive line. I feel like they're a little bit more exciting because they come out with new concealers and foundations and cheek products, things like that, on the regular. I feel like they have a more extensive lineup of products. On top of that, I feel like Revolution's shipping is much better than Colourpop. When I place an order with Revolution, it usually takes anywhere from like 3 to 5 days to get here. When I place an order with Colourpop, it sometimes takes up to 2 weeks to get to me. So that's super, super annoying. And again, when it comes to Revolution, they literally have everything, and they have multiple choices for everything. And again, their prices are really, really fair. I think most of their foundations go for around $12 a piece. They're always having really amazing sales. They're just really good. I wouldn't say that their quality is as great as Colourpop is, which is why Colourpop was number one. But I do feel like Revolution is a fairly close second if we're just talking about products, right? But again, their shipping's better, things like that. So Revolution is number two. Even though Makeup Revolution isn't a brand that I feature super heavily on my channel, I do enjoy their products. I do enjoy quite a bit from the brand. And I have tried quite a bit from them, and 9 times out of 10, I'm pretty happy with what I pick up. So really, really great. The next one is NYX. Now, guys, NYX is forever going to have a tiny piece of my heart, just because I feel like NYX is so artistry driven. I feel like NYX is exciting. They come out with exciting collabs. I also think NYX is incredibly overpriced, which is why they're not like number one or number two. Super, super expensive. They're known specifically for their primers. I feel like they have really amazing cheek products, everything from contour sticks to things like that. I don't think NYX has a bronzer, just like a straight up powder bronzer, but they have really amazing lip products. A lot of my holy grails are from NYX, the contour sticks, the lip liners, things like that. Some of my very favorite powders come from NYX. So I feel like they are really fantastic quality, but again, they're definitely overpriced. Most of their primers go from anywhere from like $15 to $20. Their things are pretty expensive. But see, what I don't understand about NYX is that some of their products are incredibly affordable, like their eyeliners and their lip liners. But then some of their things, like their primers and their eyeshadows, are like stupidly expensive. So I don't really get the pricing situation there. But another reason they scored so high is because they're so accessible, right? You can walk into your Walmart and you can pick it up. So I like them for that. They're really easy to access. They have really great quality products. So we like that. Next on the list is Profusion. And Profusion is one of my very, very favorites of all time. Profusion just gets it. Profusion, I feel like, is very in touch with what the customer wants, right? They come out with all kinds of fun collections. They come out with all kinds of fun different eyeshadow palettes. They have really amazing eyeliners. Their lipsticks are really fantastic. Their cheek products are amazing. Put all that together with the fact that they're easily accessible. They're both available online and in store, and their price point is phenomenal. They are one of the most affordable products or affordable brands in store. On top of that, they have amazing cheek products. Like, they have everything from cream to powder. Not even NYX does that, right? So you have Profusion palettes you have eyeshadow, but then you also have bronzer palettes and blush palettes. You have contour palettes. You have you have everything. I really think that Profusion, their lineup is really diverse. Their shade ranges go from super light to super deep. I just think that is a really well-rounded brand. I think that they have some products that are super artistry driven. Their brushes are fantastic as well, and affordably priced. I've never seen any NYX brushes in my store, so I'm not even sure if NYX does makeup brushes or anything like that. But when it comes to Profusion, they have everything. They literally, you could get a full face of Profusion and probably spend spend an amount of money that wouldn't make you sick to your stomach. So that's why I really enjoy the brand. On top of that, their quality is absolutely phenomenal. Their eyeshadows are some of my absolute favorites. Their liquid blushes and powder contour and blush palettes are my holy grails. Like, I just really, really enjoy the brand overall. So I think they're a really fantastic brand to start with. If you're just getting into makeup and are wanting to dip a toe, I think Profusion is a really great place to start. Next, we have Maybelline. And this one, Maybelline, some of the older, like OG drugstore brands, they gave me a lot of trouble trying to rank, just because there's so much, right? There's so much history there. A lot of us have holy grails that come from like the super old OG brands, but also they're not very exciting, right? A lot of times they don't release new things very often, and they're just kind of coasting along on the fact that they're, the same products that our grandmas used. I just don't quite get it. But when it comes to Maybelline, they make some of my very favorite, like, holy grail mascaras and foundations. And I was sitting here really trying to think about the fact that if I sat down to do my makeup, could I do it without using a Maybelline product? And I realized that I can't. All of my favorite mascaras come from Maybelline. Most of my very favorite foundations come from Maybelline. So Maybelline is a staple brand for me. Now, it's kind of at the middle of the list because, again, it's not super exciting. They don't come out with super exciting new collaborations. They don't come out with artistry-driven products, things like that. But they're just good. They're just a very middle-of-the-road, dependable brand. And there is something to be said about that. There's something to be said about a brand that you just know is going to have what you need. Their products are serviceable. They're maybe not the best, but they're definitely not bad either. They're very serviceable. They have what you need. Maybelline, again, their shade ranges are really nice. They go from really deep to really light. They service both fair and deep dark complexions. They have a very well-rounded range of products, everything from mascara and foundations to cheek products and blushes and contours and highlights, things like that. Some of the best highlights at the drugstore come from Maybelline. The Master Chrome highlights are amazing, right? So you just have to kind of take all that into consideration, adding on top of it the fact that they're available absolutely everywhere. You can get them everywhere from CVS and Walmart to the dollar store. They're just widely accessible and just easy to get your hands on, and they're always just good. The Maybelline Fit Me powder, I know, is a lot of people's holy grail product, holy grail face setting powder. So it's a great big brand. Unfortunately, it's just not very exciting. Next up, we have Wet n Wild, and Wet n Wild gets the next spot simply because it is both well-rounded and incredibly affordable. Wet n Wild is one of the most affordable brands at the drugstore, right next to e.l.f. kind of. They're just super, super cheap. I think now they're even more affordable than e.l.f. On top of that, they have great foundations. One of my very favorite concealers of all time, the Incognito concealer, is from Wet n Wild. They have amazing face powders. They have amazing primers as well. They've got a primer for everything from oil control and pore minimizing to hydrating and glowing. They have a primer for everything you need. Their lip products are amazing. Really great liquid eyeliners, things like that. I just think they're a really well-rounded brand. Packaging isn't great, but it's not the worst at the drugstore either. I think Wet n Wild is, again, one of those brands that is dependable. Their quality is consistent. Everything that they come out with is good. I don't think I've ever tried anything from Wet n Wild that was just genuinely terrible. Not a single product. So again, they're a dependable product that is easily accessible, and they have something for everyone. So it's a really fantastic brand. Next, we have LA Girl / LA Colors. Now, LA Girl and LA Colors are sister brands. They're under the same umbrella. LA Girl is a little bit more expensive. LA Colors is definitely a drugstore, like dollar store brand. But I love each of those brands for basically the same reasons, right? Some of my very favorite eyeliners come from LA Girl, LA Colors. Their eyeshadows are really fantastic. When it comes to LA Colors, they have super dirt cheap products that actually work. Their cream gel blushes are fantastic. LA Girl, their eyeshadows are really great. There's just a lot from the brand. They have contour, they have blush. Their cheek products are fantastic. It just depends on packaging and how much you have to spend, right? LA Girl is, I wouldn't say the most affordable at the drugstore, but again, it's not the most expensive either. They are available at Ulta. The reason they didn't come in just a little bit higher is because they're not as widely available as other brands. The only place I've ever been able to pick up LA Girl is either their website or Ulta, which means that they're not super accessible. And then when it comes to LA Colors, you can get them pretty much everywhere. They are widely accessible, but they're kind of hit and miss. Some of their products are really fantastic, but the LA Colors eyeshadows are not my favorites. I'm not a big fan of their concealers or like base products. They're not very good. But when it comes to kind of like cheek products and eyeliners, things like that, they're really great. So it's kind of a toss-up. You kind of have to pick and choose what you like from the brand. Next, we have e.l.f. And e.l.f. is like right smack dab in the middle of this list, just because to me, they do one thing and they do that one thing perfectly, and that is cheek products. e.l.f. makes, in my opinion, the best cheek products, some of the best cheek products at the drugstore. I'm talking about like dupe cheek products too, because e.l.f. unfortunately isn't a super original brand, right? But in the last couple of years, they've gotten really, really great at duping other brands. So they didn't go higher on the list just because they're not a very original brand. But when they come out with affordable dupes for much more expensive products, they do it beautifully. You have the Halo Glow liquid filter. And then on top of that, some of their contouring products are my holy grails. The e.l.f. cream contour palette is absolutely phenomenal. Unfortunately, their primers are really fantastic as well. They just came out with those new lipsticks that everybody is loving. I haven't tried them yet. Unfortunately, when it comes to e.l.f., I feel like they're getting a bit big for their britches. I feel like they're starting to try and charge more mid-range prices for products that are great, yes, but still come in incredibly cheap, kind of dinky packaging. It's just, they're getting a little bit, their ego is getting a bit big for me, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I was thinking about like the e.l.f. products that I love. I love their putty bronzers, their putty blushes. I love their contour products. But they don't have, like, their camo concealer is okay. It's not my favorite. It's a little bit drying for me. I also think about the fact that they do not have a foundation that I cannot live without. They have that Skin Finish Satin Perfecting Foundation. It's not my favorite. I feel like it's a little bit drying on my skin. And then they have the Camo CC Concealer, the Camo CC Foundation that is a dupe of the, which one is it? I can't even think of it right now, but you know what I'm talking about. But they're all dupes. Nothing super original. Nothing is wildly inventive or innovative. I just think that they're slowly becoming a dupe brand, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. Next, we have L'Oreal, and L'Oreal is one of those brands that I just absolutely adore. The only reason they are so low on the list is because they are expensive. One of the more expensive brands at the drugstore, but I can't sit down and do my makeup without using a L'Oreal product. I just can't do it. Everything from cheek products like bronzers to foundations, and I don't think I have the L'Oreal concealer yeah, I do. The Full Wear Concealer, I use it to contour and cut my crease. L'Oreal is another one of those brands that is super, super dependable, really accessible as well. They're sold literally everywhere. L'Oreal lip products are phenomenal as well. L'Oreal is one of those brands that is just beautifully well-rounded. but they're just expensive. They're expensive, especially for what they are. Their packaging isn't very unique or special. And again, they're just not exciting. They haven't come out with anything super exciting in a good long while. They're just not innovating. They're not moving forward, surging forward like the rest of the makeup world is. And I feel like they could kind of kick that up a little bit and really just kind of try a little bit harder. Because people, when you think of exciting drugstore brands, L'Oreal isn't one that kind of pops into your brain, right? The next one we have is Essence, and the reason I like Essence so much is because they're incredibly affordable. It's one of the more affordable drugstore brands, and Essence makes some really incredible mascaras. They make really great powders as well. Essence I really enjoy their eyeshadow palettes as well. They're fantastic. My coffee cat, what is this? This is the Essence Coffee to Glow. This is one of my very favorite on-the-go palettes of all time. It stays right up here. It is the palette that I reach for if I'm in a rush, and I have to go somewhere and don't have time to sit here and do my makeup. I'll shove it in my makeup bag and do it in the car. They make really fantastic products. I think they have really great quality as well, but they're just not super exciting. And again, I feel like their quality can sometimes be just a little bit hit or miss. Some things are much better than others. Then you have Revlon. And Revlon is on this list, and it's this high on the list for one reason and one reason only. And that is because I adore the Candid line. So everything from the Candid Concealer to the Candid Foundations, you have the regular Candid and then the Candid Glow. Everything when it comes to Revlon, I adore their concealers. The Candid Concealer, and then also the new 5-in-1 Skin Awake Concealer. It was my best of 2022. They make amazing, amazing base products. I also really adore the new skin caring foundation that they just released. It is phenomenal. So if you have dry skin, I think Revlon understands dry skin, ladies. I think they also understand like aging skin and more textured skin as well, because they come out with products that are beautifully forgiving. They last well on the skin. I just think Revlon understands what the consumer wants when it comes to base products. On top of that, I really enjoy their colors. Their undertones are nice. I can find like nice pink concealers. Their stuff never looks like too yellow or too orange on me. They also have really beautiful cheek products. The Revlon Skin Lights highlight is absolutely stunning. Their blushes are gorgeous as well. So they do everything really well, but again, they're just not exciting. They haven't come out with anything new in a good long while, and I just feel like they just need to kick it up a notch when it comes to the packaging department and just kind of like branding themselves a little bit more, kind of getting themselves on people's minds a little bit more. They just need to put themselves out there. The next one we have is Milani, and I know that you're probably shocked that Milani is so low on the list, but y'all, Milani is expensive, right? So they come out with eyeshadow palettes. Their eyeshadow palettes are really not the best quality, but they're $20 a pop. That's like, there are so many other brands that you could get amazing, amazing eyeshadow palettes from for less money than that. It just kind of ticks me off a little bit. Now, they do have really amazing cheek products. They just came out with the liquid contours. Their blushes are fantastic. They've got lots of different products, very well-rounded. They've got the Conceal and Perfect line. So they just did the contours and the highlights and the foundation and the concealer, all that good stuff. All of it is nice, but nothing is so special that I feel like I can't get it from somewhere else cheaper, right? So I feel like they're just kind of like right there, almost, a little bit closer to the bottom, just because they're expensive. But for what? Like, why are you so expensive? Why are you so special? I just don't get it. Next, we have Flower Beauty, and this is another one of those brands that I have that problem with. They're just expensive for no reason. Now, I understand that they want to be more of a higher end drugstore brand, and I get it. Their packaging is just a little bit nicer, but it's still drugstore packaging. It's still straight up plastic packaging. There's nothing super special about it. Now they just came out with the new liquid contour wands and highlight wands, things like that. I have gotten a chance to try most of that, and it is very, very nice. And I will say that the formulas do feel a little bit elevated. They do feel like they would be worth a little bit more of a higher price tag. But I just feel like, again, they've got a little bit of an ego. I feel like they want more than they're kind of worth at this point. You're coming out with super generic packaging, nothing super special, and we're just supposed to kind of like pay the extra money because you tell us there's a little bit of skincare in the products, and I'm just kind of not on board with it. Not quite, especially since you're not doing anything super special or super different. Like, you know what I mean? Elf is doing the same thing for like half the price, so I don't get it. Then we have Lottie London, and Lottie London is another one of those brands that is like well-rounded, but they're almost there. They have nice eyeshadows, but the eyeshadows, they definitely could be better. They're not the best quality. They have nice kind of concealers and things like that, but again, they could definitely be better. The packaging is not great, very generic, very plasticky, very flimsy, and all in all, it's a great brand, but I think there is a lot of room for improvement. Now, the reason they're ranked as high as they are is because they make one of my favorite powders right now. The Lottie London Ready Set Go Loose Setting Powder is phenomenal. It's what I was wearing earlier. It just goes on, especially if you have dry skin. It doesn't look heavy. It doesn't look cakey. Just goes on, does exactly what it needs to do without adding too much thickness and too much heaviness to the skin. It's a beautiful powder. I do have quite a few of their eyeshadow palettes, and the eyeshadow palettes are nice. They're not amazing or anything like that, but they're nice. It's a very serviceable brand, but not much more than that. You know what I mean? Next, we have Physicians Formula, and this one, the only reason they're on this list at all is because I adore their new, the Butter Collection. Right? So I love the Butter Glow Highlight and the Butter Glow Liquid Bronzer. I think they're phenomenal. I also really adore the Butter Foundation and the Butter Glow Concealer. They're gorgeous. But the reason they're ranking so low is because they're stupidly expensive. Like, most of the Physicians Formula products I have are like anywhere from like $12 to $15. The packaging is clunky and awkward. I just feel like they could do better. I just feel like they definitely could do better. Now, I know that they're kind of geared as being more of a, you know, they're kind of geared towards older women just a little bit. And I think the packaging kind of reflects that, but also I think they're boring. They don't really do any super exciting kind of eyeshadows, nothing like that. I don't think of the brand Physicians Formula and I don't get excited. I don't get like, ooh, I cannot wait to try that, right? It's just kind of like, oh yeah, if I see it, I'll check it out. It's not exciting. And again, they're not really making giant leaps in the world of makeup. They're not reformulating and coming out with new exciting products. They're just kind of there. They do what they do and they do it well, but they're just kind of there. It doesn't seem like they're trying very hard. Next, we have Covergirl and Covergirl. And they're another one of those brands that honestly, I really don't use a lot of their products, and I feel really bad because Covergirl is one of those brands that has been around for absolutely forever. But I sat down today trying to really figure out what it is that I use from the brand. And quite honestly, the only thing I have from Covergirl are a couple of primers. A couple of their powders I've tried and they just haven't been super impressive. I like a couple of their foundations, but nothing really jumps to the top of my list. Nothing really excites me. And it's just kind of like, oh, they're just kind of there. Next, we have Pixi and Winky Lux. Now, both of these are exclusive to Target, I think. The only place I've ever found them is Target, and y'all, overpriced. Like, they are legitimately, they're the most overpriced freaking things. I think Winky Lux has like this rose blush that is $20, and it's a blush. It's a blush that's shaped like a rose, and it's $20. I just don't get it. And then when it comes to Pixi, Pixi is one of those brands who kind of prides themselves on putting a ton of skincare into their makeup. And as much as I appreciate that, it's not exciting. It's just not exciting to me. Like, I love skincare and I love doing my skincare and I love taking care of, you know, my skin, my complexion, things like that. But when it comes to their makeup, everything is very neutral. Everything is very muted and just not exciting. It's just not one of those brands that makes my fingers itch and brushes twitch. Like, I don't want to dig into it. And Winky Lux is very much the same way. I do have a couple of products from Winky Lux. Everything that I've tried has been okay. I don't think that any of the products I've ever tried from either brand have been terrible. It's just, I don't understand the price tag. I don't understand why it's so expensive. I just kind of don't get it. And because I don't get it, I just kind of stay away from it. Neutrogena and Olay are next. And these ones both tied again. They're just... I don't think I own anything from either. Well, I do own a couple of things from both Neutrogena and Olay, but I cannot tell you when the last time I used any product from either one of those brands is. They're just there. There's nothing there that excites me. There's nothing there that I want to try. There's nothing there that is like innovative or exciting. It makes me sad because I feel like they're just kind of being left in the dust and they're being slowly but surely forgotten about. Next we have Catrice, and Catrice is kind of like last on the list because I just don't know enough about it. I have not really ever tried anything from Catrice. I believe that they used to be available at Ulta. I don't know if they're still available at Ulta or not. I've heard some really awesome things about their foundations and concealers, things like that, but I've never gotten a chance to try them, so I don't really have an opinion on them. And then, last but not least, we have the brand BH Cosmetics. And this is a brand that really, really breaks my heart because BH used to be one of my very, very favorite brands of all time. They used to excite me so much. I would hang on their every word. I used to kind of wait and hope and pray that they were going to announce another collection, announce something else that they were coming out with. And then last year, they ended up getting bought out by Revolution, and we haven't heard anything from them since. They did a release, I think late last year, early this year, and they released some new kind of quads from the travel series. But after that, I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard a word from them, and it makes me really, really sad because they used to come out with such cool, exciting new things. Their formulas were both affordable and high quality. Some of my very favorite palettes in my entire collection come from BH Cosmetics, and they just kind of dropped off the face of the earth. And that is heart-shatteringly, like, just, oh, it makes me so, so sad because they had so much promise. They filed for bankruptcy, got bought up by Revolution, and we haven't heard a peep since. So it's just like, what do you do, you know? Guys, I hope today's video was at least semi-entertaining for you. I got my skincare pretty much all done. I will, of course, list everything that I used in today's video in the description box below. And as always, no filters, no edits, no fancy lighting. It's just me sitting in front of my camera doing my skincare, hoping you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. Until next time, stay safe, take care of yourselves, and remember, you're important. Bye.